Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a session with Sir Nitesh Mehra and Law Association on the topic farm laws and its analysis. The topic is of general public importance and for law students to understand that why farmers and are not going back and not in the mood to negotiate.
Thank you, Muskan, for the introduction. Uh, Once I'll start this, close your this screen so that we can start it. So let us understand from the perspective of our viewers that why these farm bills are very important. Since the rollover protests in our nation with regard to these farm bills are being now everlasting from last more than 6 months. Now we need to see whether these farm laws are actually boom for the farmers, which the government is getting, or they have some curb material there inside, so the farmers are not getting ready. So the unions are having their point of view that these laws are actually the black laws, which if implemented, the farmers' income would be disturbed, they would not be getting anything, and the entire agricultural sector will also go into the private hands. So the fear with regard to their bread and butter may be right, but the implementation of law with regard to the betterment of the agricultural sector is also what the government think to before bringing them into force. So now, by way of a PPT which we have made on these laws, let us understand that what are these farm laws of 2020 and how they are to be implemented and to be analyzed that what are the challenges which the government is facing with regard to their implementation. So the first slide itself shows the plight of one farmer who is having his hull in hand and seeing towards the sky for depending upon the agriculture production of the crops. So now, what are the issue of these farm bills? Since the November 2020, the farmers of Punjab and Haryana have marched to the national capital of territory of Delhi for protesting against the Farm Bill 2020. Though they have been stopped at the borders of the Delhi and they have not been allowed to come inside, but they have put on their shelters, they have put on their tents, and they have been residing there, and they've been residing since long now and been projecting their protest as a march of protest and a strong protest against these farm bills. These bills act as a blueprint which allows farmers to directly sell their produce to the corporates. It is feared that this can remove the minimum support price safety net from under their feet. The farmers are protesting against two farm bills. One is the Farm Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, the Farmers Empower and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. Along with these two bills, government also brought an amendment with regard to the Essential Commodities Act, which we will also discuss. The bills could easily pass through from Lok Sabha but faced difficulty in sailing through the Rajya Sabha. Finally, the bill was passed through a voice vote. The another point which the farmers are raising with regard to these bills was that why during the lockdown there was a need for the government to bring out bills through the way of ordinances, why the government was hiding with regard to having discussion on these bills, and they have directly from the ordinance way brought them into the Lok Sabha and then got it passed by voice votes. In September 2020, President Ramnath Kovind gave its assent to three agricultural bills that were earlier passed by the Indian Parliament. These farm acts are as follows: the Farmers Produce Trade, Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. The bill allows the farmers to sell their produce outside the Agriculture Produce Market Committee (APMC) regulated markets. The APMCs are the government-controlled markets yard or called as mandis. So the farmers clearly have more choice on who they want to sell the farm produce. It is also permits intra and interstate trade of farmers produce beyond the physical premises of APMC markets and other markets notified under the state APMC acts. The features of this act is the trade of farmers produce. This act allows the farmers to trade outside to trade areas such as farm gates, factory premises, cold storage, so on. Previously, it could be only done in APMC yards or mandis. So the area has been extended with regard to the selling of their products. Alternative trading channels, it facilitates lucrative price for the farmers via the alternative trading channels to promote barrier-free intrastate and interstate trade of agriculture produce. Electronic trading, it allows the electronic trading of scheduled farmers produce in the specified trade area. It will also help in direct and online buying and selling of the agriculture produce via electronic devices and the internet. Market fee abolition. As per the Act, the state governments are prohibited from levying any market fee or cess on farmers, traders, or electronic trading platforms for trading farmers' produce in an outside trade area. The second one is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Association and Farmer Service Bill 2020. It sets up a national framework for contract farming with the help of agreement between farmer and buyer prior to the production. Now, this farmer contract farming has to be understood. What is the farming agreement? This act provides for farming agreement between a farmer and a buyer prior to the production or rearing of any farm produce. Minimum period of farming agreement. The minimum period of farming agreement shall be of one crop season or on production cycle of livestock. Maximum period of farm agreement is the maximum period of farming agreement shall be 5 years. It also states that if the production cycle of any farming produce is longer than and may go beyond 5 years, the maximum period of farming agreement may be mutually decided by the farmer and the buyer, may be explicitly mentioned in the agreement. Pricing of the farmer produce. Here, there is a catch. The pricing of farming produce in the process of price determination should be mentioned in the agreement. If the prices are prone to variation, then that must also be specified. Settlement of dispute. The Act provides for a three-level dispute settlement mechanism: conciliation board, subdivisional magistrates, and appellate authority. Now, the third one is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. Now, why there is a long drawn battle that all the farmers says that this particular bill is giving a big grade entry of the corporates into the agriculture sector. Let us understand how. It is an act of Indian Parliament which was enacted in 1955 to ensure the delivery of certain commodities or products, the supply of which, if obstructing owing to hoarding or black marketing, would affect the normal life of a people. This includes foodstuffs, drugs, fuel, petroleum products, as well as the grains, and some we see the state governments are prohibited from levying money market fee, cess, or levy outside APMC areas. Powers of central government. It regulates the production, supply, and distribution of a whole host of commodities. It declares essential in order to make them available to consumers at fair prices. It can also fix the MRP of any packaged product that declares an essential commodity. It can add commodities in the list when the need arises, can take them off the list since the situation improves. If a certain commodity is in short supply and its pricing is spiking, the government can notify stock holding limits for a specified period. Powers of state government. The state government can improve supplies and bring down the prices by refraining to apply any restrictions. However, if the restrictions are imposed, traders have to immediately sell any stocks held beyond the market. Amendment. Now, what is the amendment in this? With the amendment in this act, the government will include some commodities as essential to regulate their supply and prices only in cases of war, famine, extraordinary prices of natural calamities. So, in a way, the government has given a free hand to the people to hoard, and after hoarding, they will definitely be able to control the prices. So, why it was brought out? Since the late 1800, farmers have been having the problems of overproduction, low crop prices, high transportation costs, high interest rates, and growing debt. The issue with the existing MSP-based procuring system is the dependence on middlemen, commission agents, and red tapeism of the APMC officials. It becomes difficult for a farmer to get access to the mandis. The new farm bills will produce farmers freedom to trade across states and empower them to be the traders of their own produce, to be in the control of the process. The intention behind these three bills is that it will create an environment for the farmers and traders where they will enjoy of choice of sale and purchase of agricultural produce, and encourage a barrier-free intra-state trade and commerce outside the physical premises of the markets. Now, what was the ordinance all about when it was not become the act? The bills were passed by way of ordinance through a voice vote despite opposition by MPs wanting a recorded vote. These bills were not referred to the committees for in-depth deliberation, thus suffering from deficit of legislative scrutiny, due to which, when such bills become acts, they do not have sufficient reasoning and rationale and are not accepted by public. hence leading to public uproar against the government for neglecting scrutiny and examination of the legislation. The laws passed by the parliament now lack support from the public because the views and opinions were never addressed while making them. So pros of the new farm bills, which the government say that how it is a farmer friendly and it would become a new boom. Let us understand that whatever bill is brought by the government when they are in power is stated to be a sea change in the entire history of the checkered agricultural market. The farmers will have a freer and more flexible system. That's what the government says. Selling produces outside the physical territories of the mandis will be like marketing for the farmers, even as the APMCs will continue to with such functions. Thus, the new system is just parallel to the previous system. That's what government says. Farmers will earn better prices with the freedom of choice to sell outside the regular mandis. The amendment to the Essential Commodities Act removed the fear of farmers that traders who will buy from farmers would be penalized for holding the stocks in excess. These bills ensure that farmer or the producer is given adequate attention and the farmer gets the some price for crops so that farming survives. The Prime Minister also said the system of MSP will remain and the government procurement will continue. In the existing APMC system has influenced to the rise the cartel by traders and uncompetitive markets due to which the farmers are paid MSP for their products. Thus, it aims to remove the middlemen so that the farmers may do not run into the losses. So cons, that what are the problems or what see that why the farmers are not happy with these bills. So we have summarized it like this. The farm bills interface with the monopoly of APMC. The farmers produce trade and commerce promotion and facilitation bill fails to give any statutory backing to MSP. There is no law for the implementation for crops on MSP. The ordinance does not mention anything directly or indirectly suggesting an end to MSP based government procurement, which is causing confusion. Farmers may get less price if they sell the produce outside the mandis. With the new bill, the farmers and traders are on the mercy of the civil servants rather than of the courts because the challenge to the entire dispute between them has been traveled into the three tiers, and all these three tiers are away from the courts. So, what is MSP? Let us understand. The MSP is minimum price guarantee. That is like an insurance for the farmers when they sell their crops. These crops are purchased by government agencies at specific cost. The MSP cannot be altered in any situation. Thus, it protects the farmers in the country, especially when the price of the crop falls drastically. Wheat and rice are among top crops that are procured by the government at MSP from the country's farmer. There are about 20 to 23 such crops which have been brought under the category of MSP. It is set by the central government for selected crops. It is based on recommendations of the Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices, which determines the MSP. With the coming of the Green Revolution in 1960s, India came up with the MSP system in 1966 and 67 for wheat and was expanded further to include other essential food crops. This was then sold to poor under the subsidized rates under the public distribution system. And that PDS is also continuing right now. Now, what led to the farmers' protest? What are the reasons and why the farmers are not happy when the government has been saying that MSP will remain there, they would be benefited, they would get more price, contract farming is there, they would get reasonable price, they would also get the freedom and movement to trade it anywhere around the country. So let us see from this slide that why it is happening, why the farmers are going on to the agitation and not concluding it with. It is feared that ordinances will remove the mandi system of marketing and also interfere with the selling of the products at MSP. There can be a loss to the commodities with the coming of the ordinance, which states that farmers are allowed to trade products outside. With the plan to connect the farmers with the big corporates, the farmers can be exploited by them. As per the farmers' legislation, are suited for corporates and not for the farmers, and that they will dominate the Indian food and agricultural business, which does not suit the farmers. The farmers also fear that no purchases should be below the MSP. It should be provided in a clear manner that if any agency buys the crop of the farmer below the MSP, then legal action will be taken against it. Thus, wanting a written provision that MSP will not be removed, although the Prime Minister and his government repeatedly said that farmers' MSP system will remain in state. Farmers lack trust in the government. Now, as per the senior leader of Congress, Deep Surjewala, these ordinances, which have now become the act, will destroy the farmers and mandi system and impact farm laborers and commission agents also. Now, seeing the position which has happened now, we have seen a black day in the country when all these farmers went onto their extent of tractor rally on 26th of January 2021 and led on into the streets of Delhi. And the drama was also went to the historic Red Fort, where even our flag was came down. So all these situations, all this scenario goes to show that actually there is something missing in these acts for which the farmers are not happy. The demands of farmers are with regard to the MSP. Demands of farmers are with regard to the middlemen. The demands of farmers are that why the Essential Commodities Act has been amended. What was the need of that? That if the real benefit was to be given to the farmers. One has to understand from that perspective also that this amendment with regard to Essential Commodities Act definitely raises a doubt on the intention of the government that wasn't the intention is to give the same to the corporate. Now, will Mandi system will be abolished? The Indian government has ensured that the Mandi system minimum set price will not be abolished. Since it is nowhere mentioned in the law, so the farmers fear that minimum set prices might be overlooked by private buyers. The farmers want a verbal assurance in the written form. But as per the Bharatiya Kisan Union, it was an attempt to break the Mandi system and abolish the MSP. Thus, the farmers had come out on the streets and the call for Bharat Bandh on several farmers' organizations, including the BKU. Most of the farmers of the Punjab and Haryana are opposing these bills. They are fighting for the Mandi system to be a written law and the assurance of conventional procurement system. Now, what are the effects of Farm Laws 2020 in the long run? Now, let us understand what we have made it a categorized formation that what would be happening if they are implemented and if they are go on with the force. These three bills are expected to bring revolutionary changes in the agrarian contracts and help the farmers to double their incomes. That is what the government is saying. Another feature is to increase the number of small holdings in the country. It is a support to farmers and will uplift the lagging agricultural sector. The presence of corporates will provide the farmers with the new technologies which will help in higher production. The contract agreement will help the farmer to obtain credit and insurance for optimum production. With the introduction of the new bills, there will be fair competition on a national level. Less prices will be charged to consumers and increased farmers' income. It will promote job creation. Agricultural sector will be paced with e-commerce sector. The bill will attract investment towards cold storage and food processing facilities. Now, the matter went till Supreme Court since the farmers are not happy. So the colors and the wires of this act has been challenged in the Supreme Court of India. In the Kameshwar Singh case, the petitioner challenged the farm laws in the Supreme Court on the ground of fifth and substance of the legislation falling within the state list under the 7th schedule of the Constitution. For legislative purpose, often the center infringes into the state domain, thus a justification would be required on some entries in the union list or concurrent list. Agriculture, land, and markets are entries 14, 18, and 22 respectively in the state list. Entry 30 of the state list includes the relief agriculture indebtedness. Entries 45 to 48 of the same are the list pertaining to the revenue and taxation relating to the land or agriculture. The Supreme Court can remove a parliamentary law with which domains mentioned in the 7th schedule of the Constitution. In state of Rajasthan versus G. Chawla in 1958, the main focus was on the content of statute for deciding its validity. These judgments are precedents in the farm laws. The center would try to rely on entry 33 in the concurrent list, that is an entry about the trade and commerce. It also includes food items, therefore the center is making effort to justify its farm laws. Now, who is right and who is wrong has to be understood when we come to the conclusion. In this case, the government and the farmers need to find out a middle point. Both have to adjust to each other's needs and demand. The farmers need to let the legislature know about specific provisions that they need to be altered. The governments need to incorporate its promises in the act and need to consult experts and farmers groups in the matter. The farmers' products need to be more organized and leaders need to make sure that no untoward incident happens as it has happened in the past of 26 January and that no ordinary citizen is affected. They may also seek legal recourse with regard to the challenge to the present farm laws against the government. The government needs to communicate and explain the various provisions to the leaders and understand their apprehensions. Now, the conclusion of the present session with regard to the farmers' bill is that the three farm bills have been in controversy since 2020. It was brought into existence to remove the middleman and red tapeism that has been prevalent since 1800. That's what government is backing their bill. The bills need to be discussed in context of larger portion of state intervention in agricultural marketing, including the existing APMC system. The states are levying less revenue for investments to strengthen public infrastructure by not consulting the states in passing these laws. Some states have begun reducing mandi charges. The protesting farmers are also misled or confused on these crucial issues. The bills do not mean anything to the farmers unless these conclusions are clear in the right context. The way forward for the government is to revisit and think the newly enacted legislation and provide clarity on the vision it has for Indian agriculture in the long run. It should also concern the state and the farmers who are the stakeholders before re-enacting the act and not bypass them. With this, we are concluding the present session. Muskan, if any questions are there, you can ask the same.
Yes, sir. Sir, why only the farmers of Haryana, Punjab, UP, Rajasthan have raised their voice against the farm laws and not from the all other states?
See, if we see from that perspective, the agitation is there all over India. But yes, in some state it has been most prevalent. So the northern parts of the countries are more actively demonstrating against these bills. Maybe they are in the larger interest of the agricultural sector, but we are really fail to understand that whether the farmers of the South India have understood the concept of the present act and therefore they are not protesting that much. But be that is as it may, the challenge of the present act has already been pending in the Supreme Court. So the outcome of the same would be very interesting, that whether these laws would seem to be ultra vires and unconstitutional. So not stating much on the same, but yes, the more farmers from the northern India are protesting in the against the farm laws.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. One more. On 26th January, as we all know, the protest took the very violent turn and Nishan Sahib was used. Did the protest take a religious turn because of that?
I really don't know what was happened and how it became violent, because the ideology with regard to that protest was that it was a tractor rally. Earlier, the permissions were not given. When the permissions were given, the boundary was very much specified that where they have to go and do this tractor rally and then they have to come back to the route. It has been stated by the farmers union that they have been stopped from going to the routes which has been given to them, which has been countered by Delhi police by stating that they moved away from the path which was given to them and they entered into the boundaries of Delhi. And seeing it to be with regard to that way that certain religious flags were used, whether it was trying to given a religious war against the nation or not, that has to be considered by the court, where the matter is already pending and the charge sheet has been filed against that violence, because that right under Article 19 is of fundamental nature, but there are reasonable restrictions that you will not disturb the public property. So whether actually it forms that way or not, that would come to know when the matter got end in the trial.
Okay, sir. Sir, why the farmers are not happy with the amendments?
See, the conclusion which we have drawn in the present session, then there is serious apprehensions in the mind of farmers. And one of them is basically that there is a way which the government has find out to create an entry of corporate sector in the agricultural field. So once agricultural sector will be dominated by corporate, then the farmers who are right now in the mercy would go on the most worst situation than ever in which they were earlier. So they are therefore rightly worried. Another important factor of their worry and they are not happy was the amendment in the Essential Commodities Act. See, you yourself will understand that why hoarding was not allowed. Hoarding was not allowed because there are certain essential commodities which can be needed by any person at any time. So the government took a control on them. Certainly, when these acts got amended or they have been enacted, the Essential Commodities Act has been amended with regard to the allowance of hoarding. So, will that not in the future will disturb the Indian trade and practice with regard to the agriculture? And yes, another important thing with regard to that is that if somebody does not pay the support price which has been agreed in the contract farming, then what is the punishment prescribed for that? There has been a redressal forum, but there is no punishment prescribed for that. So non having of punishment in an act itself raises some doubt. And the most important factor was non-discussion of this acts before being brought out on the part of the parliament. has another concern for the farmers. So there are many reasons for them to be unhappy with these bills. Whatever may be the situation, but the government is still backing their laws by stating that these are going to be the boom in the agricultural sector. Let's see how it proceeds in the future.
Okay, sir. The last question is in the laws will bring a change for farmers as it would remove mediators from mandi.
Can you repeat it again?
Is in the laws will bring a change for farmers as it would remove mediators from mandi.
See, that's what government is saying. Ideally, the farmers were very happy with the having of middlemen in between, and so that they also go and just give it to them and they go to sell it. See, it's very difficult for a farmer to come back from their field and go for the selling of their products to find out the right uh, purchaser for their agricultural crops or something. So it was somewhere in the benefit of both of them with a mutual understanding that those farmers who have a fixed middleman, they go to them, they give them a fixed price and they come back. So now if these middlemen go, these mandis go, then there is very chaos kind of situation that will the one farmer will go to Reliance and ask for that you took my vegetables or the agricultural products, and who will decide that price. So for those purpose, they were happy that there is somebody who will look after the purchaser and the farmer, and that middleman will do the whole bargaining sort of the things where they do have the commission agents. We also tell them commission agents, and they do get earn commission. So the farmers with that concept were not very unhappy. So government saying that removing of commercial these commission agents would be a boom for the farmers. That has to be told by farmers only and their unions. So since if the farmers are so much unhappy, uh, so the government has to think with their think tank and to sit with the farmers and to find out some resolution to resolve this protest which has been going for long.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Muskan, for your assistance, and we'll see you in some more sessions. Thanks a lot.